Hello, heathens. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, it is mid-year report time. Yes, we are doing our mid-year report. Now, I'm not really a stat keeper. I'm trying to change that because in doing this mid-year report and actually statting out tier ranking and figuring out what I had read and really taking stock of my reading life has been kind of therapeutic and I've kind of enjoyed it. So I might continue to do this so I actually can keep some decent records. I have also read a whopping, wait for it, 119 books. Yeah, that's a lot of books. So I'm looking over there because I've got kind of my spreadsheet with all my tier ranking and I'll show you a little clip of that here and we'll go through what my tier rankings are. But I was going to put up all of the, and then I was just like, nah, this is going to take like a million years and no one got time for that. So I'll go through it slightly quicker. I'll talk about them. I won't give you in-depth summaries, so you'll have to go to the other videos, but I'll just do a general tier ranking. And I thought it was really interesting reflecting back on my reading. The other thing I wanted to reflect on was my 25 for 2025. So how am I doing? How am I doing? 7. Yeah, I have read 7. Not even half. And unfortunately, a lot of those weren't that great. I would say my 2 favorites of the ones that I have read was Heavenly Bodies by Imani Eru. That's really great. That is a gorgeous romantasy with like stars and gods and Enzo. The main love interest in that just yes. So I like that. That was good. I'm waiting for the sequel to come out later this year. And then also The Night Swim. I enjoyed that. That was one of my favorite thrillers I've read so far. Looking at the list, I'm going to do a follow-up video where I'm going to talk about this specifically and also swap out some for the later half of 2025 because I feel like, I don't know, some of these I may not be in the mood to read at all. So I want to set myself up for success here. So we'll do that. I also have my romantasy bingo. So the lovely Hannah Blackwell set us a romantasy bingo board for the year of 2025. I'm doing a little bit of that. 10. I've read 10 out of those, including Reckless and Fearless. I will do a series update as well as part of the series. I have finished the Powerless series, including the novella. I'm so proud of myself. I'm proud. So those 2 are on there. Sky Shade was on there as well. When the Moon Hatched was on there. So I've done quite well. That one's going better, and I think I do want to read most of these, but we'll review those at a later stage. Now, if we're talking about my tier rankings, I will put a picture or a little video of that up there. I've made my own ranking system, and I've also linked it to food because that's what I do. So let's start with the bottom tier. So the bottom tier is I just can't do it. And that is I fell asleep in my soup. So what I'm saying here is that these books, and I'll talk about them individually why, but these books generally most of them, it'll be like they bored me, because to me that's the biggest offense for a book. It just kind of bores me, or I just really can't remember it, or I just didn't like it. I just plain didn't like it. So those are the ones. Then the next category up is liked it, but still empty inside. So that is bread with no butter. No, just dry. I mean, a nice piece of sourdough, it's fine. It's great. It's great. Slather it in some nice salty butter. And then you've got a meal. So these are the ones that are probably 3 stars. 3.5. It's not like I wouldn't recommend these, but they just didn't give me any of the feels. And I'm all about the feels. I'm all about the feels. Then I created a special category called Disappoint. So disappointed, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. And this is past the seasoning. So these are the ones where I wanted a bit more spice. I wanted a bit more oomph. And there's actually various books in this category. And again, I will explain myself for various reasons. But for whatever reason, maybe I had high expectations, but these books disappointed me. That's a disappointed parent. Then I'm catching feelings. Oh yeah, this is Hawaiian Pizza. And fight me. Hawaiian Pizza is incredible. This is 4-star books. Loved them. Gave me some tingles. Where you can decide. Then the next tier up, which is essentially a 5-star. My Cold Black Soul just melted. Yes. So these are the ones. These are a 5-course dinner with all of the desserts on the menu to follow. I love these books. They were great. Then there is my Satan tier, which are like everything on the menu, including Charlie Hunnam. And don't you dare say something mean about these books ever. But beneath that, I needed because they can shift up and down, but I needed a segue. So I've got Highway to Hell. And these are Jason Momoa will be around with your pizza. Said Hawaiian pizza, being delivered by Jason Momoa. So that's kind of my ranking, right? And I've placed the books as such. So, like I said, I'll show some footage. I'll put some covers up there because, again, I was not getting 119 books off the shelf because that might, yeah, it'll do me in. I mean, that's just not going to happen, right? So if we go to the bottom tier, so if we go to, I just can't do it. In this tier, we have City of Stardust. I tried. I was bored. Opium and Absinthe. I, on reflection, didn't like it. I don't think it did what it said it was going to do. And I just... Cruel is the Light. Oh, yes. I was looking forward to Cruel is the Light. I had a special edition. Angels versus Demons. I DNF'd it. I never picked it up again. It's now at the charity shop. Disappointed, but also just didn't like it. DNF'd it. Immortal by Sue Lynn Tan. Same thing. Had a special edition. Just was bored. Unmaking of June Farrow, same thing, but Adrian Young. I really like other Adrian Young books, and I've got some more much further up that I really loved. Spoiler alert, pirates. But this one, again, I was bored. Lisa Jewell, Breaking the Dark. I'm actually mad at this book. It's one of the few books I'm mad at because I love Lisa Jewell. I love Jessica Jones, which this is kind of a Jessica Jones tie-in, the Marvel series. And I just hated this book. I didn't like the storyline. I didn't like the way Jessica Jones was portrayed. I didn't like the constant baby talk. It just really, it actually makes me angry. I really didn't like that book. And then the Bone season, Samantha Shannon, I'm so sorry. I tried because this was on my list of one of the books that I absolutely wanted to try. I know a lot of people love the series and I love that for you. I got about 8 hours into the audiobook and I just couldn't do it anymore. I'm so sorry. Then Boy Parts by Eliza Clark. Again, I'm kind of mad at this. I just found it very... I didn't like it. Plain and simple. Modern Divination. This was, again, an anticipated. This was dark academia, witches, romantasy, boring. Lucy Foley, please don't be offended by any of this. Lucy Foley, The Midnight Feast. I've read other Lucy Foley books, and controversially, I like The Paris Apartment, which a lot of people don't like. I did not like The Midnight Feast. I found the main character insufferably irritating. I think she's meant to be, but it really irritated me. The mystery wasn't great. It was like she was like an influencer opening this like fancy spa. I just found the whole book irritating. Then The Undoing of Violet Claiborne. This one is down there because I think it had potential as like a going through someone's life, again, mystery, rich people drama. But I barely remember what happened. And I remember being quite bored and trying to get to the end very quickly. The Fierce Smith by Erin Doom. I had high hopes for this. I had high hopes for it. It started well. I was enjoying it. This is like taboo romance between step siblings. But it just went on and on and on. It didn't really go anywhere. And I got far. This is a thick book. And I got like 200-300 pages into it. I was like, we're not going anywhere. And the main character really annoyed me because she was so whiny. So, didn't like that. And then, this book. This is I haven't talked about this yet in a video. I think this video will be posted first. We'll see. But I read Enigma by Runix. Now, the eagle-eyed among you will know that Gothic Hana was, it still is, Satan tier book for me. I hated this book. I am so mad, so disappointed. I don't know what happened. I am going to be talking about this in my review of the month, but suffice it to say, that was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Not really. But anyway, they're all in the bottom tier. Would not recommend. Then, next tier. I'm still empty inside. So, these ones are, like I said, these are going to be like 3-star. Some of them might even be 3.5 stars. Like them, but they weren't my favorite. So Cruel Thirst, to start off with, that is a YA vampire book set in Mexico. It was fun while I was reading it. It was kind of a bit of like Zorro-ish, but I'm struggling to remember it, and it was fine. There's nothing, I'm sure some people would like it. There's nothing wrong with it. It was fine. Absinthe Underground, again, I think that was Fairy's best cover ever, because I love Absinthe. But I had a good time reading it, but forgettable. Language of Dragons. I went on my dragon rampage at the beginning of the year. I like this. This was YA, kind of a take on Bletchley Park, but with dragon languages. And I liked it, but I didn't love it. So that's why it's here. The Poisoner by Ivy Ophelia. I thought I was going to like this more than I did. I'm now struggling to remember the story, but I know it was like historical vampire, but like... I mean, I should be like, oh my God, I loved it. And I really didn't. So there you go. Then Beautiful Villain by Rebecca Kenny. This is again, a vampire take on The Great Gatsby. Great Gatsby being like my favorite classic. And liked it, didn't love it. Gilded by Marissa Mayer. Liked it while I was reading it, didn't love it. I'm not going to pick up the second book on reflection. Life's too short. What Happened on Floor 34 by Carolina... I can't read that from here, but by the author. So that one is like an office thriller mystery where the night editor of this newspaper goes missing in London. I enjoyed it while I was reading it, but nothing special. I'm now struggling to remember the plotline. The Temptation of Magic. This was one of my 25 for 2025. I was I thought this was going to be incredible. This was so like academia, witches. It was fine. I remember it being fine when I was reading it. I don't remember the storyline. Now, just to say, if I don't remember, it's a bad sign. Okay, for me. Then I read on audio Alice Feeney's Beautiful Ugly, and I don't know if I've talked about this. I liked it until I didn't. So I'm sort of 50-50 on this one. It was okay. But I did have to, when I looked at the cover, I was like, what was that about again? And honestly, was it the husband with the woman that disappears? I can't really remember. See, it's a problem. And then we've got The Bell Witches by Lindsay Kelk. Actually, this was a lot of fun. This was more of like a 3.5 star. I had a great time while I was reading it. It's YA witches. It reminds me a little bit of Beautiful Creatures. It reminds me a little bit of Practical Magic. It incorporates, I think my problem with it was that it incorporated a lot of tropes and themes and ideas that I've seen in so many other witch stories. I've read a lot of witch stories, and spoiler for the rest of the year, I have an entire shelf, actually almost 2 shelves over here, of books that are witch related. Like there must be probably about 30 books there. So I'm going to be doing a whole month of Let There Be Witches, okay? But yeah, it just wasn't anything special because I've read so many witch books. Then we've got You'd Look Better as a Ghost, which I liked it until I didn't. The main character, the ending wasn't great. The main character was a little bit annoying, and I thought it was going to be better. It's like a angry woman, good for her kind of thing. Is it? Yeah. She gets rid of people. Or is she just a psycho? Something like, I can't really remember, but I just remember it. I remember finishing it and going, oh, yeah, that wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. The Book of Witching by C.J. Cook. I also have a lot of other C.J. Cook books. Now, this was the first one I read. I liked the modern story. I wasn't particularly interested in the past story, so it's dual timeline. I think all of C.J. Cook's books are dual timeline. And it was fine. I just didn't love it. I know someone else would probably absolutely love it, but it was just fine for me. Again, I've read a lot of witch books. Then again, on audio, I read Megan Golden's Stay Awake. Megan Golden, if the name sounds familiar, she was the one that wrote Night Swim, which I love. I also have Dark Corners, which is the second book in that particular series. They're standalone thrillers, but it features the same main character. And loved Night Swim. Stay Awake, I liked. But I really had to go, what was that about? And actually, when I was reading it, I will say this one, again, is more of like a 3.5. So when I was reading it, it's about a woman who, whenever she falls asleep, she forgets all her memories. And it was really tense and it was really fun while I was reading it. But just now, when I'm looking back at the book, I'm struggling. Like, I really had to sit and think about what the plot line was. So that's why it's there. Then for Shia's Wrath, I read this at the beginning of the year, and it's kind of a good for her fantasy romantasy. It was fine, but again, I'm slightly struggling to remember the plot. Unfollow Me by Charlotte Duckworth. This was about a mummy influencer, a YouTuber who goes missing. Fine. True Crime Story by Joseph Knox. Again, I had quite a good time when I was reading this, but it's not a 4-star book for me, right? And then currently, I'm kind of halfway through, but I put it on here. I'm reading Frida McFadden's Tenant. Actually, I'm listening to it on audio. Now, the reason, this is my first Frida McFadden book, by the way. I'm going to do a whole video about thrillers and maybe kind of delve into Frida McFadden, because there's a lot of controversy that I've seen online about Frida McFadden. This is her latest, The Tenant. The reason I delved into that this morning was because of because Enigma by Runix basically threw me into an immediate reading slump. And I was like, I can't have this. I can't let this throw me into a reading slump. So I need something fast and easy, and a twisty crime thriller seemed like the best thing to do in that situation. Yeah. And I also held on to Thing, who is my emotional support hand. So those are all those books. Then Disappoint. Right, so these are the books that disappointed me the most, although I think some might go into this category. So you may be surprised that the first book in that category is Anathema by Kari Lake. Let me explain. Let me explain. Okay, let me explain. I love Kari Lake. I did like Anathema. I did. It was very atmospheric. It's very gothic fantasy. Don't shoot me, but I feel like there was a little too much world building and characters and magic systems, and I just found it kind of confusing at points, and in a way then almost too long, and it took too long to get to the romance. Once we got there, I loved it. But also my expectations, because Nocticadia is one of my all-time Satan tier favorite reads, and that was up there, right? So my expectation, I think, was a little too high going into this book. So that's why that was not that I wouldn't recommend it, and not that I didn't like it, but it disappointed me. And the next one as well, Kingdom of Claw. So Kingdom of Claw is the second book to Rhoda Bones by Demi Winters. I adored Rhoda Bones. I still think about that book. I still think about the storyline. So I was super excited to get to the sequel. I have soft DNF'd it. I think, how far am I? It's over here. I think I'm like 100 pages in, and I'm bored. And I'm like, I'm not having a great time. And maybe I just need to put it down and wait and do it again, because a lot of people have said they really liked it, and I loved the first book, but at the moment I am so disappointed I've had to send it to the naughty step. Blood of Hercules by Jasmina Mass. Is it Jasmina Mass? High expectations for this, and I think this was also on my 25 for 2025. Kind of female Hercules, dystopian Roman gods and warriors. Upon reflection, I really didn't like this book. The Sinner by Chantal Tessier. So again, The Ritual by Chantal Tessier, further up on that list. So this one, however, too much sex, just spice scene after sex scene after spice scene, and very violent. And I did not like the main male character, and the main female character was, I get that she was meant to be very submissive and very broken, but she got to the point where she irritated me, and I want my female characters to get some oomph, even if, you know, it's been tough, but like, man up. Eliza Clark's Penance. That disappointed me because I was just expecting more from that book. The Gargoyle by Michelle Keel. I don't know where to put this book. Still don't know till this day how I feel about this book, but it kind of disappointed me because I was like, I'm gonna love this. It's Paris. It's, you know, the arts in Paris. We're on the top of Notre Dame, but I just don't know how to feel about this book. Then Songbird and Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. This was another one where Serpent and the Wings of Night is just like my favourite thing ever. And this one was fine, but I was disappointed. I didn't like it. It's probably not even fun. I can't even really remember the storyline. And then The Deep by Elma Katsu. The reason that's in here is there wasn't enough horror. I wanted more killer mermaids, basically. There just wasn't enough of that horror element in it for me. The historical bit was really good, but the horror element let me down. Right, now we're getting to all the ones that I like. So from here on out, it's all good news. Okay, so this is I'm Catching Fire. This is my Hawaiian Pizza reads. So the first of all we have is Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. This is such a great thriller. Save it for winter if it's hot where you are. But oh my god, people stuck in a cabin, whodunit, brilliant. Sky Shade. This was the third book in the Lightlark series by Alex Aster. I liked it. A lot of people didn't. I didn't have much of a problem with it. It's mainly about Grimm, and anything about Grimm is good, okay? A Court of Frost and Starlight, Sarah J. Maas. This is the Christmas novella. Actually, I think I ended up reading it in January. I loved it because I love anything in the ACOTAR world. I mean, but it's a Christmas novella, so it's like not up there, right? But it's ACOTAR. ACOTAR is a Satan tier series. So then we've got Blood Orange by Karina Halley. I went back and forth on this one. Dracula, set in Venice. I liked it a lot, but almost too much spice versus storyline, so I'm on the fence. Fear the Flames. Again, another dragon book. Really enjoyed it. Action adventure. I love the main character in this, and we'll read the sequel. So I'm looking forward to that. Then we have Fable and Namesake, and they're both by Adrienne Young. I love the series. So this is the first two books in the series. Originally, it was just a duology. Now there's a bunch of other books around it, like shorter novellas, and like a third book, I think, as well, from a different character's perspective. So I'm working my way through all of them. Pirates, gem divers. It's such a great series, and again, it's perfect for my kind of water summer pirate feels I'm doing at the moment. Then we have Rena Kent's God of Pain. It's in this tier and not above it, because you'll see God of Malice is above it, because I did like it, but nowhere near as much as I like God of Malice. Hooked by Emily McIntyre. I have gained an absolute love for Emily McIntyre's books, and you'll see further up. One is in God tier. So Hooked is kind of like Peter Pan inspired, but it's organized crime, mafia, dark romance. It's fabulous. I really enjoyed it. The Ritual by Chantal Tessier, the first book in this series. This one I really like. I really like Riot, our main character. He is such a bad boy, but man, I'd let him do bad things to me. Yeah. But it's not way up because I preferred the second half of the book to the first half of the book. Then we have a cluster of Lisa Jewell books. So it's The Family Remains, The Family Upstairs, and The Night She Disappeared. So I'm an idiot. Okay. So for those of you that know, The Family Upstairs and The Family Remains is actually kind of a duology. So you're supposed to read The Family Upstairs first. But me being an idiot, and I didn't realize this, I read The Family Remains and then went, we seem to be referring to a storyline. Yes, we seem to be referring to this storyline. So then I read this book second, but because I'd already read this one, I kind of knew everything that happened in there. Don't do that. But they were very good and probably would have been a lot better had I read them in the right order. And then The Night She Disappeared, I really liked. This is about a teen mom and her boyfriend that disappear. And the mother's like, her mother is like, no, she'd never leave her baby son. And it's really twisty and turny, really interesting. Classic Lisa Jewell. Then we have Fate of a Royal. This is by Amo Jones and Megan Brandy. This I just listened to for fun on audio because I stumbled upon it. Such a great time. I've got the second book queued up on my audio app. So this is Fae University. The main character's a complete arsehole. He finds his fated mate and now he's struggling against it because he just wants to shag around, essentially. Doesn't want to be tied down. But the mouth on that man. I really love him. Of course I do. But he's such the bad boy. And he can be actually quite irritating. But I like that about him. Then we've got Fable at the End of the World by Ava Reid. I thought this would be higher up. But again, on reflection, it didn't hit me the way like Juniper and Thorn did. But I may need to go in and reread that. So TBC on that one. Then The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. Again, thriller. I love Simone St. James. I love kind of the way she crafts her writing. I love dual timelines, all of that. So really great thriller. I've actually got a spate of thrillers there. So we've got The Night Swim by Megan Golden, really love that. I think thrillers for me tend to sit in that like 4-star category if I like them. It takes a lot for me to kind of have that as Satan tier because there is one, but most of them will sit here. So again, Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera, really liked it. That one I really liked. I love the podcast element. Then Beast by Matt Wesolowski, again, really love that. It's like law in the small town of England and the influencer, the YouTuber kind of dying, and it had great atmosphere and feels to it. And then Little Red Death by A.K. Benedict. This one, I recommend reading it. It is so weird. I didn't know if I was reading, it was like dark fairy tale meets like, is this all in her head or is she nuts, meets crime thriller, meets detective, meets, I still don't know what was going on, but I had a great time. Go into it blind, enjoy the ride and see what you think at the end. And then Purgatory by K.L. what's her name? K.L. Taylor Lane. I had to go closer to read that. Very tiny covers. This is a mafia, so this is part of my mafia reads, and she's actually a psychopath and is the one that beats up the people and gets shit done, and I really love that. And then she falls in love with these two guys, these two friends, so it becomes this white shoes mixed race couple. It's fun. It's fun. Then Voyage of the Damned. Oh my goodness. So I recently read this. Let's get this book out here. This was so much fun. I'm going to talk about this more in my wrap up in terms of like all of my sea-based stuff, but Frances White, Voyage of the Damned, I recommend reading this. This is like fantasy Agatha Christie type of crime, because they're all on a boat and people are popping off and you're trying to figure out who's doing it, and it can only be the people that are on the boat, but it's also fantasy and the main character's hilarious. Those We Drowned by Megan Golden. Again, another boat ship centered YA thriller. This is what I wanted The Deep to be. I love this. Then My Dark Fairy Tale by Gianna Darling. Mafia set in Italy. I had such a fun time reading this. I want to find my mafia man in Italy. And then The Untamed Shore by Sylvia Morena Garcia. Am I saying that right? This was really good. So I love Mexican Gothic. Untamed Shore I really like. I think this is my second favorite of all of her books. Kind of like noir crime set in 70s in Baja. Good. Really enjoyed it. Right, now, my cold black soul just melted. So these are my 5-star reads. Okay, these are 4.5 to 5-star reads, right? These are the ones that really were giving me all the feels. So, The Favourites by Lane Fargo and Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. Those are two of my all-time favourite contemporary romances now. Who knew Ice Dancing could be that hot? I love these two. Hugely recommend. I put although Powerless I read last year, but I put the whole of the Powerless series on there. So Reckless, Powerful, and Fearless. I read all of those this year. I love the series. Enough said. Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. I really like this. This is a Carmilla retelling, and I love the main character keeps going, what do you hunger for? And it's this kind of feminist take on it. Like, women always talk to be sweet and polite and cute and shut up. But what is it that you hunger for? What is it that you really want? And I love that. Then I've got the whole Murder and Chaos series by Bryn Weaver. So Butcher and Blackbird, Leather and Lark, Sight and Sparrow. Butcher and Blackbird is my favourite, but oh, is it? I do like Leather and Lark. I love all of them. I like this whole series. Fight me. I like it. It's fun. This is my fun times. So like dark rom-com. Same with Lights Out by Navessa Allen. Love that. I love that maybe even... No, do I love it a bit more? I feel like they're kind of on par. They have a similar vibe. I feel like if you like one, you might like the other one. Wretched for Emily McIntyre. Another Emily McIntyre. I really love the series. This one, again, it's like organized crime, and our main female character is a badass. She also grows the poppies to make the coke. Okay, so she does that. So she is the supplier, and then she falls in love with an undercover DEA agent. It's great. On audio, I listened to Graves by Caitlin Taylor, and honestly, I feel like I now want to get the book and reread it, and I want to get way more Caitlin Taylor books, because this was so much fun. This was a standalone, well, fun. It's dark romance, very spicy, twin brothers. She gets with both of them. They're also like assassins for hire, like mercenaries, organized crime. It's very good. Then I've got The Never King and The Dark One. They're the first two books in the Vicious Lost Boys series. I'm halfway through the third one on audio. I think my audio cut out, so I may need to actually buy the book. But really, really enjoy these. This is a great series. This is a Peter Pan retelling, dark romance. Love it. Super spicy. So much fun. Lovely Bad Things and Lovely Violent Things by Trisha Wolfe. This is if you like Silence of the Lambs, that kind of FBI agent, serial killer dynamic, Criminal Minds, lots of philosophy talk, very cerebral. They're spicy, but also actually not that spicy, to be honest. They're very cerebral, and I really like reading them, and I'm looking forward to reading the third one. Then Little Stranger by Lee Rivers. This is not cerebral at all. But it is smutty, but it is a fun fight me Malachi, I love him. Also step siblings, stalker obsessed. There's a scene with a screwdriver. Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. Again, I read this as part of my Mafia series. This is the first book in the Brutal Birthright. I've got the second book, Stolen Heir, queued up to read. I loved it. This is arranged marriage between the Italian and the Irish mob, and it's so much fun. And I was trying to work out how the strawberries on the cover of this book play into it, and I found out, and it was fun. These two are just basically trying to annoy and destroy each other in the beginning. It's enemies to lovers. It's great. I really enjoyed it. Then we've got Hollow Heathens. Loved that. That is also very much like a Halloween town. The vibes of it are very beautiful, dark romance. Loved that. And then A Court So Cruel and Lovely by Stasia Stark. This is one of my favorite romanticities I've read this year. And it ended on a massive cliffhanger, and I can't wait to read the next one. Then my intermediate, because I can't decide. So Highway to Hell. Jason Momoa's here with your Hawaiian. So on that tier, actually I might kind of combine it with the tier above, because like I said, these ones are the ones, I don't know, they could move up and down, get me on a different day, you know what I mean? So on Highway to Hell, from my favorite author, Miss H.D. Carlton, I have Shallow River. Fight me, I love that book. I don't care what anybody says. Anything H.D. Carlton. I would read that woman's shopping list, okay? So we've got Shallow River in Highway to Hell, and then in the Satan tier, we have Hunting Adeline, Haunting Adeline, Satan's Affair, and Where is Molly? Love all of those. They're all Satan tier books for me, always and forever. But like I said, they could move. So also in Highway to Hell, we have When the Moon Hatched. I loved it. Again, I know there's a lot of split opinions on it, but I actually really liked the writing. I found it beautiful. I found it lyrical. I love the love story. Yeah. The Fourth Wing series, the whole, so Iron Flame, Onyx Storm. I love it. Zayden, what would you want? Okay. Assault to Take by Harley LaRue. This falling in love, the demon. Oh, he is so. Who doesn't want a demon boyfriend, right? You know, he came to kill her, but ended up shagging her in a graveyard. It's my dream man. And I cannot wait to read the other two books in the series. And then we've got Death Valley by Karina Halley. I love saying that. Again, there is a spate of Karina Halley books here. I've got Death Valley and Grave Matter in Highway to Hell. And actually in Satan tier, I've got Black Sunshine and A Ship of Bones and Teeth. So just, I love Karina Halley. She is a Satan tier author for me. Again, in Highway to Hell, we have Praise by Sarah Kate. This is part of the Salacious Players Club. So again, these are the kind of books when I need an antidote, a palate cleanser, something fun, easy to read. The relationships are actually incredibly sweet and incredibly emotional. The spice is fun. And I love the way that that's funny as well. I love the way that Sarah Kate writes. I'm kind of in the middle of the second book at the moment, so I've got most of the series. God of Malice by Rena Kent. This is in Highway to Hell. I adore this book. Killian and Glendon. Yes, please. Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin. So above it, I have Hills of Shivers and Shadows, because that is still my favorite Pam Godwin, but it goes back and forth. Sea of Ruin is a historical pirate fiction that is insane, and it sent me on so many emotions, and that poor woman, what she has to go through. Next is Leave Me Behind and also The Fabric of Our Souls by Kaya Maranova. I loved both of these books and I will be reading more Kaya Maranova. Absolutely. The only reason Leave Me Behind is not in Satan tier is the very, very end of this book. There's a time jump and I almost feel like we could have had this as a duology. And I don't say that often. This is a standalone. But I feel like it could have been a duology or just leave or not do the time jump. But we're literally talking the last 2 chapters of this book. But up until then, if I ignore that, Satan tier. And The Fabric of Our Souls, I just love. Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I reread this because I want to get to the other 2 books in the series. I never read them. And it reminded me how much I love this. So this may go up further. Then Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. I love this. So Ashley Winstead is my Satan tier author for thrillers, and This Book Will Bury Me is in Satan tier. Again, Highway to Hell, we have the Mindfuck series again by S.T. Abbey, although that might go up as well. Again, Criminal Minds vibes, female serial killer with her FBI profiler boyfriend. I mean, it's brilliant. Kid by Jessie Hall. There's a lot of drug taking in this. This is a very sad, twisted, effed up relationship, but I loved it. Also, the main character is called Johanna. She has my name. Enchantra and Ruinous Fate by Kaylee Smith. Kaylee Smith is another Satan tier author. Okay, I love her books. And I just, this particularly the Ruinous Fate series has kind of gripped me. So this is probably my favorite romantasy at the moment. And I have the second book back there, queued up, ready to read. Then we have Penn Douglas's Corrupt. So this is the first book in the Devil's Night series. I love this. I really, really want to read the whole of the Devil's Night series in the next few months because I want to get back into it. I loved it. And then we have Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I reread Belladonna and now I'm reading the other 2 books in the series as well. I remembered how much I loved Belladonna. And then Satan tier. These are the books that only the Dark Lord is allowed to touch, and you will never pry them out of my cold dead hands. So we've already discussed H.D. Carlton. Let's discuss Gigi Sticks, because I did not think that anything could ever touch the Cat and Mouse duet, and boy, this got there. So this is I Will Break You and I Will Mend You by Gigi Sticks. It has the same kind of vibe in terms of the relationship and some of the things the characters go through, but oh my god, Zero and Amethyst, my new favorite couple. Zero, I would do evil things for Zero, and I would let Zero do evil things to me. Let's leave it at that. Then we have, like I said, Black Sunshine and A Ship of Bones and Teeth by Karina Halley. Vampires and pirates. What more do you want? Then we have all 3 books in the Blackwood Institute. So it's Twisted Heathens, Sacrificial Sinners, and Desecrated Saints. Fight me. This is one of the best series I have read in such a long time. The emotions, the messed upness of this Why Choose Romance. I bow down to J. Rose. I also bow down to Santana Knox. Your twisted, wicked minds leave me speechless. Heartless Heathens by Santana Knox. Just everything I wanted in a book and more. I adore those books and I can never ever stop talking about them. Hills of Shivers and Shadows, like I said. I'm scared to read the second book. Is that normal? No. Hexed by Emily McIntyre. I love this book. I just read it, so maybe recency bias, but it's a dark mafia romance retelling of The Little Mermaid, where Ursula is the hero. Come on. It's amazing. This Book Will Bury Me by Ashley Winstead, and then A Court of Silver Frames by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, I read that book this year. I hadn't read it before, and it's Nesta's book, and I mean this. Yes, I'm a basic bitch. I adore ACOTAR, okay? And it is fantastic. It is the gold standard when it comes to romantasy. It really is. It's hyped for a reason. I'm gonna need a drink. So that is my list. Looking at it, if I had to pick, I mean, obviously anything in the Satan tier is going to be my favorite books of the year. But if we kind of ignore those ones and look underneath it, things that jump out at me now are still Lights Out, weirdly. That's one I really love. The 2 Karina Halley books I adored. I still love The Favourites and The Conditions of Will. I didn't think that contemporary romance would be my favorite. So really, there are so many that I just adored. Like I said, 119 books in. I've got loads more to read. I'm trying to get rid of some of my physical TBR. So I am also intermittently picking up books and then DNFing them and just not talking about them if I'm not interested in them. But I have a lot of videos to go. Like I said, witch videos, more summer reading. We're doing Summerween. We're doing dark romances. So stay with me. Let me know, what is your favorite book of the year so far? How is your reading going? I want to know, what's your mid-year report look like? And thank you for joining me. I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye-bye.